Namaskar friends, this is Living Economics and I'm going to explain the next graph from the book Principles of Economics by Gregory Mankiw. Now this graph is taken from the chapter Interdependence and the gains from trade, and this graph, as you can see, is trying to explain what happens if we trade. So the first figure, which is figure 3.1 of this chapter, expresses the production possibilities frontier of farmer and rancher. Here there are two products which is being mentioned. One is meat and the other is potatoes. If farmer uses all his resources, he can produce 2 pounds of meat or 4 pounds of potatoes. That means either he can produce 2 maximum pounds of meat and 4 pounds of potatoes to the max. If he tries to produce some amount of meat and some amount of potatoes, therefore dividing his resources into 50-50%. So let's say he diverts his resource 50% of his resources in producing meat. He can produce 1 pound of meat, and then rest of the 50% of the resources left to produce 2 pounds of potatoes. So this is the production possibilities frontier of a farmer, which is meat 2 pounds maximum, or potatoes 4 pounds maximum, or there is another combination which says 1 pound of meat and 2 pounds of potatoes. There can be different combinations as well in this on this curve, but we are only explaining what is mentioned in this graph. The second panel, which is panel B, talks about what ranchers can produce and his production possibilities frontier. You can see rancher can produce 40 pounds of meat and 5 pounds of potatoes. So he can produce either 40 pounds of meat if he uses all his resources in the production of meat, or he can produce 5 pounds of potatoes if he uses his entire resources to produce potatoes only. If he mixes, he can produce 20 pounds of meat with 50% of the resources he has, and rest of the 50% of resources can produce 2.5 or 2.5 pounds of potatoes. This is exactly what is being explained in this graph. Let's see what happens in figure 3.2 in the next video. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.